Good morning students, welcome to online class. This is Sheila, your computer application teacher. Today we are going to see chapter 14, open source concepts. So what is an open source? Open source is nothing but a software which is freely available in the internet. Good morning students, welcome to online class. This is Sheila, your computer application teacher. Today we are going to see chapter 14, open source concepts. So what is an open source? Open source is nothing but a software which is freely available in the internet, in the network. Clear? A software which is freely available in the internet is going to be termed as an open source. In this lesson, we are going to learn the need of open source software, what is NIST and its use, or what is OpenNMS and group which is created with OpenNMS, and open source hardware. See, your free software and compilers were provided with early computer hardwares. Yes, see, with this human understandable code, the user can just modify the code, he can add a new code and identify the errors. Now you might have a question, if anyone can change the code in a open source software. Yes, it is actually possible. If a person is trying to change a code in a software, it will be checked by n number of people. It is nothing but there will be a group of dedicated programmers. These people will be checking for the modified code. If it is actually applicable, what will happen is they will modify the code, they will approve it, and it will be distributed to all. Able to follow? See, in the open source software, if there is a modification done, it will be checked by multiple number of people. There will be a dedicated programmers in the group. These people will check for the code, and if it is actually eligible, if it is actually applicable, what they will do is they will accept it and they will circulate the updated version to the people. Able to follow? This is actually the change acceptance of open source software. Now you people should have a doubt, what is an open source? What is an open source? It actually refers to making the source code of a software freely available for the users or other developers to use and make changes in the original repository or fork the project into and build a new one. Generally, see, you people might have learnt your MS. MS Word is actually licensed software, isn't it? What about OpenOffice? OpenOffice is a freeware. Why do we call it as freeware? It is because you need not purchase it. You need not spend your money to get it. Yes, just like that, you people can download it, isn't it? It means it is a freely available software. That's it, software only. We will call it as what? Open source. Yes. And sometimes MS Word is also used for Word. It is used for your Word creations, your document creations, isn't it? In your MS document, you have MS Word, MS Excel, everything you people have. Yes, the same way in OpenOffice, you have everything. MS Office, what and all you have for your MS Office, you will have everything in the OpenOffice, isn't it? Is it not a copy? Yes, it is actually a copy, but it is actually available at a free of cost. Fine. So open source software is usually created and updated by many programmers around the world, and it is actually made freely accessible. Now, you people should know what is proprietary software. What is proprietary software? Proprietary software is nothing but which is actually owned by an organization or by an individual. Say for example, we spoke about MS Word, isn't it? So MS Word is actually a licensed software. It is actually owned by your Microsoft, isn't it? The makers of the proprietary software have not allowed the users or other developers to view or edit the source code. See, the source code is nothing but the code, the program that we write. Yes, the program that we write for creating a software. That's its source code will not be available for the people to see. Yes, the developers and the people who are actually working on it will not be allowed to share the source code. But what is the advantage of using this proprietary software? It gives you more control, support, training, security and stability for user, making the software reliable to the users. Yes, in a network it is not easy to find problems, especially when there are more systems connected. The complexity is more. So we need what? We need network software to control, analyze the software system, protocol, network traffic flow and report about ups and downs of network paths. Notification helps the user and administrator easily find working status of network systems in hardware. See, we speak about network, isn't it? What is network? Network is nothing but a connection of systems. Yes, there will be several number of systems connected together from very different places. Yes, it might be wired or wireless. What happens is, as the number of systems increases, the complexity will also start to increase because the connection has to extend, isn't it? So the complexity will also be extending. So what do we need? We need a network software to control network control and analyzing the server, system, protocol. What is protocol? Protocol is nothing but set of rules, isn't it? Network, traffic flow and report about the ups and downs of network paths. These are the works that is actually done by your network software. And your notification always helps the user and the administrator easily find the working status of the network systems and hardware. And alert messages gives you the details of faults, where and when it happens. Next, NRC FOSS. FOSS. What is NRC FOSS? National Resource Center for Free and Open Source Software. This is the expansion of your NRC FOSS. What is it? National Resource Center for Free and Open Source Software. It is an institution of Government of India. Why do we use it? To help in development of FOSS in India. What is FOSS? Free Open Source Software. Fine. What are the organizations which is related to your open source with respect to your application you are talking about? Fine. So what and all is there? Apache Software Foundation, Document Foundation, Eclipse Foundation, Free Software Foundation, Linux Foundation, Open Courseware Consortium, Open Source Initiative. What is BOSS? BOSS is nothing but Bharat Operating System Solution. It is actually an operating system developed in India. What is an operating system? Operating system acts as an interface between user and the hardware. It just forms a bridge between your user and the hardware. Yes, this operating system is developed in India by CDAC. What is CDAC? Center for Development of Advanced Computing. It helps to promote the use of open source software in India. It supports many Indian languages. Now let us see types of open source license. Apache license 2.0, BSD 3 clause new or revised license, BSD 2 clause simplified or free BSD license, GNU. GNU stands for General Public License. Yes, GNU Library or Lesser General Public License, MIT license, Mozilla Public License, Common Development and Distribution License, Eclipse Public License. See, when you change the source code, what is meant by source code? I already told you, the program that we write. Yes, when we change the code in our program, what happens is the open source software requires inclusion of what you altered as well as your methods. Methods is nothing but function. The software created after code modification may or may not be available for free. When a change is made in a freeware, when a change is made in an open source, what happens is after a person includes his own ideas, it may not be available for free. Yes, now let us see the difference between open source software versus free software. See, although the term used for open source software and free software, they were interchangeably used, isn't it? To us, both remains same, but there is a difference. Let us see what is it. See, this free software was actually developed by an MIT computer science student, a researcher named Richard Stallman. His four condition was four freedoms. He wanted people to use it and enjoy the software as they see it. It is comfortable for them. Yes, and your open source software was developed a decade later, but it had modifications of software and the consequences of altering the source code, licensing and distribution. See, when we talk about open source software and free software, there is one thing that we have to understand. Your open source software can be altered, can be modified. Yes, whereas your freeware can be used for no cost, but it cannot be modified. Able to follow? Your open source software can be modified by others and it may go for a validation with a number of programmers, but that such property is not available for your freeware. It can be downloaded, it can be used for free cost, but you cannot make any changes in the source code. Clear? Now let us see open source software and the developers. Open source software and the developers. See, open source software projects are collaboration opportunities that improves your skill, that improves the skill and build connections in the field. See, it improves the skill and build the connections in the field. Yes, of course. Though it is open source software, it means a person is developing it on its own, on his own ideas, and he is just making it available for people as a freeware, isn't it? So a person without knowledge cannot create anything. So a person with knowledge has created something, isn't it? That is going to be your open source software. Yes, a person should have improved skills and they must have a good knowledge in the field. Yes, domains that developers can contribute to the open source software community includes communication tools, distributed revision control systems, bug trackers, bug means error, okay, and task list, testing and debugging tools. Just have a look at this sample. An open source software project is based on this only. The person who is creating the code is the owner, isn't it? A contributor is someone who is adding up values to it, or a person who is modifying it or helping him in developing it, right? The contributors. And the users are the person who is using the open source project. Or it can be like this as well. Open source project will be developed by the owner and it will be used by the users. Or open source software can be obtained from another person and it will be used by the owner. Yes. Start from here. Yes. Once again, I'll make it small such that it will be easy for you to look. Yes. This is your developer. Yes. Who is a developer? A person who is writing the code. Then what happens is a developer will be writing the source code and the program will be compiled, isn't it? A compiled program will be termed as a source code. Yes, a compiled program. Actually, source code is nothing but a program, isn't it? After that we compile it, then it becomes a source code. This source code will be given to the user or the developers, because user himself will be a developer sometimes, because he can also make modifications. Next, what happens? You will have an improved source code as he is using, and when he finds any differences he implies on it. Yes, then it will be given to the whole world. Yes, and verification will be improved by improved source code will be given to the world for using. Yes, the developer develops it, gives the source code to the user is we start to use it, and we have knowledge of finding faults and we start to modify it. What happens? The improved version will be obtained and that version will be given to the developers worldwide. And the verified source code, the verified improved source code will be obtained. Yes, what are the benefits of your open source software and tools? See, there are many open source softwares, so we can select and use software that suits our needs. One advantage. The other advantage is the complete options of the software can be used without any cost. Of course, yes, for the free software you need not pay any money, only that is you wanted to use your internet to download it. Yes, we can share our ideas with a team, write the required code and share it with many. As we can identify the programming techniques of group of members, we can learn many ideas and make our program writing skills more efficient. Of course, yes, when we identify the programming technique of group members, there might be a group, say for example, even your any programming language is not developed as such. It is just developed by some programmers who are technically skilled, isn't it? That is not actually done by a single person. It was actually done by a group of people. Yes, the coding is an open source software. They are being groomed by many enthusiastical members of the group. So if we report problems that we have in the program, they are quickly mended by the group's effort. As we can make changes to the open source software, we can add most required features in the software. Many open source software are very user friendly. Like benefits, open source software also have some problems like difficult to work for beginners, exchange of files to other softwares, sometimes lack of responsibility, service and problems with hardware compatibility. Examples of your open source application software. What are they? NS2, OpenNMS, Ubuntu, MySQL, PDF Creator, OpenOffice, 7-Zip, GNU Cache, JEMP, Blender, Audacity, VLC, Mozilla Firefox, Magento, Android and PHP. What is network simulation tool? See, your network simulator, NS2 stands for network simulator version 2. Actually, this is a software program. Why do we use it? Why do we install in a system? It is because when there are n number of systems, we will not be definite with what traffic to follow. What is the traffic that is occurring there? How can I transfer data from one source to the destination, from source to the destination? How it is actually passed? Yes, and if there is any packet loss, we will not be knowing. So what happens is, for that we will be installing NS2. So NS2 in computer network simulation is a method whereby software program models the activities of a network by calculating the communication between different network objects such as routers, nodes, switches, access points, links, etc. See, there will be n number of networks. Say for example, these are the networks, and this is going to be connected to another network like this, a small devices, and you will have a router or a node or a switch to connect one network to the other, the complete network. This is one network and this is going to be another network. A connection is going to be made through a router, node, switch, access point, link, etc. through anything. Yes, so the communication is actually going to be done from one network to the another. So one device, if it has to connect to the another device from one network to the another, what happens is we will be needing some communication device, and that device is going to be what? Your network simulator. Yes, clear. So a network simulator is a software program it replicates, it actually copies the functions of a computer network. In simulators, the computer network is typically demonstrated with what? Devices, traffic, etc. Their performances are evaluated with respect to the devices, traffic. Yes, normally users can then adapt the simulator to accomplish their precise analysis needs. They just wanted to know how the path is established from one device to the other, that too from one network to another network. The network parameters defines the state of the network. What are the states of the network? The nodes placement, existing links. Node is nothing but the system. Link is nothing but connection. Yes, and the events. What are the events? Transmitting data, the link failure, connection failure. All this is going to be events. The important output of simulation is trace files. Trace files can document every incident that happened in the simulation, and they are used for examination. Why do we use this trace files? It just documents each and every incident, whether the data has been actually transmitted, or is there any connection failed. Yes, if there is any packet loss, all this will be taken into account. The trace file takes everything into account, such that we will use this for what? To examine what has actually happened. Yes, NS2 is an abbreviation of what? Your network simulator version 2. It was considered explicitly for exploration in network communication and event-driven source code simulator in the computer. OTCL and C++ are used for creating and running your NS2. OTCL is nothing but object-oriented extension of your TCL and C++. They are used for what? They are used to create and run NS2. NS2 works on Windows and Linux platform. They support wired and wireless network, and they can also use command line interface. Yes, as a user interface. Next you have API, application interface, as a pure event-based software tool with super simulation design. It has more models which helps the user to get desired output easily. Next comes your OpenNMS. NMS stands for what? Network Management System. What it is actually? It is nothing but an open source that is actually used for network monitoring and management platform. See, it was actually maintained. It was actually established by a community of users, developers, and by the OpenNMS group. It offers several services, training, and support. What is the goal of your OpenNMS? It is actually to be an actually distributed scalable management application platform for all features of your FCAPS. What is FCAPS? Fault, configuration, accounting, performance, security, network management protocol. And why do we specially use it? It is because to find a fault. It is for managing your fault and for good performance. Yes, it is actually intended to cope with tens of thousands of devices from a single server, as well as to achieve unlimited devices using a cluster of servers. OpenNMS. Your OpenNMS comprises of a discovery engine which actually manages your network device without any operators. Yes, without involving any operators. Actually, it is written in Java, and it is issued by your GNU. What is GNU? General Public License. Yes, OpenNMS is the world's first software for network monitor and management with open source options. See, why do we use it? Actually, your OpenNMS, it is actually used for fault tolerance and for increasing the performance of the network. Yes, for that only we started to use OpenNMS. There are two types of meridian and horizon. There are two types in this OpenNMS. One is going to be meridian, the other one is going to be horizon. When we need stability and long-term support, we choose meridian. Yes, which is best for enterprises as well for business. Horizon is used where innovation occurs frequently. It is best for IT ecosystem, new technology monitoring. When you wanted stability, team support, we go for Meridian. And when we wanted to have innovations, that too, when changes has to take place immediately again and again, we will go for Horizon. Yes. OpenNMS was actually released in the year 1999 by Steve Giles, Brian Weaver, and Luke Reinfuss. Yes, in 2004, OpenNMS group was created by Balog. Who created it? It was created by Balog, Matt Brazowski, and David Hustes. It was actually written in Java, we already know, and it can run on all type of platform. It gives event management as well notification. It also gives you discovery and provisioning, service monitoring, and data collection. It won lot of awards for your best open source software. It has three main functional areas. One is service monitoring. What is service monitoring? When a number of monitoring modules can govern if network based services. See, actually where do we use it is, we use it for internet. When there is an error, when I wanted to fetch a mail ID, yes, not only mail ID, web ID, yes, when we wanted to use it, when we wanted to use domain names, there and all, what happens is your OpenNMS is used. Data gathering by SNMP and JMX. Next, event management and notifications, which comprises of alarm reduction and robust announcement system with accelerations and duty schedules. What is robust? It should not fail. And it was recognized for its scalability, durability. Thus, though it can be easily used to handle a small SMB network, it is also accessible enough to be used in place of large enterprise management products such as HP OpenView, IBM Micro Muse, and IBM Tivoli. In the period of increased competition in cybercrimes, the computer used by individuals or business organizations may have spy hardware of rivals. Open source. See, when there was an increased competition for your systems, and when there were so many cyber crimes taking place, what in the business organizations by an individual and all, in an individual system and all, we started to have spy hardware, isn't it? See, in your open source hardware helped in such threat. It was actually very secure to use it to prevent threats. Yes, in this technique we had components of hardware and its circuit diagram, so we can remove suspicious spyware if found. So what happens is, in this we had components of hardware. What does it did is, it found if there is any spyware found. Yes, because some softwares will be installed at the background as we start to use the system. So what happens is, the background process will start to copy whatever we are doing. Say for example, if I am going to do any online transaction, what happens is, those online transactions, my debit card number, all this can be just taken as a copy, and the other people can use it. To restrict all that, what happens is, if there is any spyware which is running in the background, this OpenNMS will be helpful to remove it. Yes, this is the advantage of your OpenNMS. Yes children, with this the lesson just gets over. Let us continue with the next lesson in your next class. Write the 2 marks, 3 marks alone in your classwork notebook and submit it on Wednesday. Thank you children.